Oh, well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the We Are McGill Social Work podcast. My name is Alice Eshimwe. I'm a last year BSW, very close to graduating student. I'm very excited. And today I'm joined by the class of the MSW, the Masters of Social Work. I have three amazing guests with me. I'm going to ask you to introduce themselves and then we'll get in the gist of our conversation. I have Anish right next to me. Anish, why don't you go ahead?
Sounds good. Thanks, Elise. My name is Anish, and I am, of course, an MSW student. My concentration is international social work and community development, and it's really nice to be here. So thank you for having me, Elise.
All right. Thank you. Welcome, Anish. Next is Doyen.
Hi everyone, my name is Adedoyin Adewunmi, and I'm an MSW student of social work with the same concentration as Anish, International Community Development. Nice to be here.
All righty. Thank you, Doyen. And last but not least, Kofi.
Hey everyone, this is Kofi. So I'm also in the children and family stream, almost close to graduating. So good to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you guys for being here. So as we get to know you a little bit better, I wanted to ask you how you ended up here in the MSW at McGill. Where did you do your undergrad? Why did you choose McGill? Let us know a little bit about your social work journey so far. I understand you're also close to finishing your MSW. So yeah, you'll tell us a little bit more about that. But before we get to that, if you can tell us before you get to McGill, how your academic journey has been. So we'll start with Kofi this time and we'll go around back to Doyen and Anish. Kofi, take it away.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so I did my bachelor's in at McGill, Faculty of Social Work as well. Before that, I think I was in education, so that is what I actually came with from Ghana. And, I was just, I'd always wanted to work with youth. So I started back in education. I realized teaching wasn't for me, but I wanted to do something around, youth advocacy and also, making sure that, people, marginalized youth who need support also. So I thought social work was the right thing for me. So I switched to social work for my bachelor's. I wasn't actually considering doing my master's though, because I wanted to take a break, but just close to, finishing. And I was like, you know what, let me just, if I've been able to do all these years, let me just do 1 year and just finish it, right? So that was the path. And I think that's been amazing since. I love it. And happy to be here and good to share with others considering social work too. Thank you.
So why did you choose the stream that you're in?
Yeah, so children and youth, like I already mentioned, was something that was dear to my heart. I think the foundation of everything that we do comes down from, the family and all that. So making sure that, children have the right access to the resources that they need that are tailored to their needs will help them succeed in life as well. Because looking back from where I'm from, there are a lot of resources that I really needed to kind of do well, but I felt like those were not at the time that I needed them weren't there. So I believe, being there for youth and give them all these resources might help. So I just see it to be more as the foundation for most everything that we do, because for sure we are gonna grow up, occupy bigger positions in life. And then if we are being nurtured and given the right resources, then we will do well in life. So that has always been my foundation. Yeah.
Oh, very inspirational. May I ask where you're doing your stage, field placement, Kofi?
Currently, I'm not doing my stage. I'll be doing the summer with Ottawa Children's Society. So I decided to just take all my classes from fall semester and winter semester. That way I'll get more time to concentrate on my ISP and during the stage too. And I think it also come back to the fact that I'm not so good with French. And a lot of organizations here in Montreal, you really need to be able to be bilingual to speak French and speak and write in French. So that has been a disadvantage on my side. So, but Ontario has so much resources and the institutions. So I looked into that and I think I'll do good at Ottawa Children's Society.
Okay. I've never heard of someone from Ghana who speaks French. How did you learn French?
Yeah, Yeah, no, that's it. Ghana is English, so that's the formal language we use for instructions and communication in government and also in school. So I know a little bit of French, just the basics, and then just to get my way around. But I'm not. I can communicate in sentences, and like the way I'm speaking right now will be really hard. But I'm able to kind of know my way around, science and other stuff. So just the basics, yeah.
Basics,
Very
okay.
limited. Yeah.
Right, good job. It's a hard language to learn, so good job to you. How about you, Doyin? How did you end up here? I keep calling you Doyin because I know that's the way you prefer your name to be said, but it's Adedoyin. But yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
And doing
Yeah.
like you before you're able to get the pronunciation, I think you also need to be Yoruba because the name is really like so much with syllables and all the stuff. So
All
yeah.
right.
So anyhow, you want.
Mhm.
So long story, because I'm actually coming in from Nigeria and my first time outside Nigeria. So I did my bachelor's in social work at the University of Ilorin. And when I finished, Nigeria doesn't really have so much like opportunities for social workers because like it's not one of the professions out there like doctors, lawyers, and all those stuff. So like I saw that there was no really opportunity for me, but I wanted to do more than like I really wanted the field of social work because I just felt like it was related to my values of humanity and all those things. So I really wanted to pursue it. So I started looking for like options of study and I came across the MasterCard Foundation Scholarship. So that was what brought me to McGill. So, so I explored more on the scholarship and I saw that there's a social work program in collaboration with McGill. So I applied. I shoot my shots and fortunately my shot entered. So I came to McGill and like it's been a wonderful experience, particularly the international community development stream. So funny enough, I think like I've been in the health field for a very long time. And anytime like anyone asks me, I'll say I want to be a clinical social worker. But like I know it's like very weird to say, but COVID opened my eyes to more opportunities and more more diverse opportunities for social workers. So like so during COVID, I started this not like an organization, but like a non-formal group. And we started helping people who felt like who had the effects, I think the hunger effect of COVID-19, and we gave them food stuff and all. So I was like, I like this. This is like the kind of person I want to be, in a place where I can like use all my skills and strength and all to just make sure I achieve something. So it was more of like being organization, like how do I put it, organizing people. So I was like, this is where I want to be. This is the field. So I chose the community and international development field, and I'm here right now.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I have more to ask you on your international experience and also on that organization, so that way we can know more about it. But let's hear from Anish. Anish, how did you get to McGill School of Social Work?
Yeah, I am actually from British Columbia. I came to Montreal just a few months ago, and I did my undergrad and Bachelor of Social Work in BC as well. I think what got me into social work initially was this university class that I took in my undergrad was in geriatrics. So I really just fell in love with the field of gerontology. And oddly enough, when I finished my degree, that was my first job that I landed with Vancouver Coastal Health. And I worked there during the pandemic until I got accepted into McGill. I actually was hoping to do some work further work before coming into master's, but you know, I wanted to give it a go to see if I could get into the McGill School of Social Work, and I did. I was looking for international social work particularly because I knew that I wanted to pursue international work outside Canada. And I wanted to see the world for what it was and what social work practice looked like outside of Canada, because I think it would be beneficial for my learning, at least, and for my experience to be able to take what I've learned here and to see how it transforms into other practices in other countries. So I found out that there were only several schools in Canada that offered international social work. And so McGill happened to be one. And so I tried and I got it. But it's been a great experience so far. My secondary background is, well, my primary is clinical. So I've worked in hospitals, long-term cares, and in a lot of clinical settings, working with chronically and severely disabled adults and children now. But I'm hoping to kind of combine the two, some from my experience and some from education now, and take it more internationally. So that's my dreams.
Amazing. I forgot to ask you where your field placement is, and also Adedoyin, if you can answer that too once Anish is done.
Yeah, I'm doing my current field placement at Montreal Children's Hospital. So I just finished yesterday, so it's a great feeling to be done.
Yes. Oh, wow. Congratulations. How about you doing?
I'm doing mine at the NDG Community Council. It has this French name, but like the meaning of NDG, but I can't pronounce it. So NDG Community Council.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Community Council. So what does that entail in your placement?
Okay, so like the Community Council does more of like the macro level of social work, like organizing and doing community outreach, door knocking, and some of those stuff to like make sure that the people in the community get like assess their needs and get to know about the resources available for the people in the community. So like we do, I do more of that, like going for outreach, awareness and workshops, survey, research, everything that has to do with like knowing your community and letting them know you. So that's what we do.
Thank you for saying that. So Anish is doing, just finished doing clinical in a hospital setting, and you're doing macro, and then Kofi is going to do a block placement in the summer.
Yeah.
All right. So if you can let me in a little bit in your classroom, how has it been? You know, anything from the course load to the classroom experience, for the lack of it because of COVID, Zoom University. How has it been overall? Let's go with Anish. If you want to start first.
Sure. I think it's been a great experience for me overall. I definitely appreciate the intimacy that we have with our professors, simply because I know for the cohort that both Adedoyin and I are in, we're a very small cohort. It's, I think, only 10 of us that are in the classes. And so we get to know each other quite well. The communication with the professors are very close and intimate. And it's more so the relationship is more peer-based rather than the hierarchical experiences that we may have had in the bachelor's. So that's something that I have appreciated quite a bit is, you know, it's more so that we're entering in with someone who is already a professional, enhancing our professionalism, enhancing our education. And these professors are here to allow us to really feel, you know, attached to what we want to learn. So I think for me, even over Zoom, I know it's something that's inevitable nowadays, even over Zoom and even in person, I think everyone has been very understanding for the situation, and there are accommodations made for everyone's needs. So I can only really speak for myself, but overall it's been a great experience. I definitely feel more passionate walking out. I mean, I'm not ready yet to walk out, but, you know, end of second semester, I feel that I am more driven and more equipped to feel comfortable in what I want to do in the future. Because coming in, I had a lot of questions, right? Is that, how am I going to do my master's online? You know, how is this going to work out, considering I'm in a different province altogether? How will the professors treat us? You know, you walk in with a lot of uncertainties, but it's understood that everyone is kind of in the same boat. And there are adjustments that are made along the way that help us reach that homeostasis with one another. And I think that's where I really appreciate that.
All right. Well, I'm really glad to hear that because the MSW administration team was on the podcast in the very early stages of this initiative, I think episode 2, and they were talking about how in the MSW, they're looking for students who are able to take what they already know of social work, because social work is a lot. You know, when you finish your BSW, you feel like you could be anywhere, and then streamline down to their niche, to their what they want to do, to get like attached to one particular subject and, you know, master it. Here you go, pun intended, master the particular field they want to end up in. So I'm glad to hear that that's what your experience has been, because that's where the administrators of the program want to see happen. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Doyin, how about you? How has it been shifting from Nigeria to Canada as well, in addition to, you know, navigating a master's program? I'm assuming it's a lot, but I would like to hear from you.
It's been fun and it's been challenging at the same time. So like it's been in the middle. So like I think when I first came, it was like a total different system because it's not like what we're used to. So like we don't really do continuous assessment, like a regular assessment. And hearing the fact that we're not going to do exam, I was very surprised because that is the way we're being assessed where I came from. So you just do one test, then you do the exam. So it was looking very different. So I was like, okay, I was ready to like give my all to it and learn. So, but like as Anish said, the professors were really approachable and like they are always ready to listen to you, guide you. So it was more like you get to learn on your own. And I know that that's like one of the best way of learning, because if you have someone giving you what to learn every time, like you might not know the extent to which you can learn like above what you expect. So like you have to learn on your own, self-discover and all, but like they were always there when you needed help. So the professors were always very approachable, unlike where I came from. So
yeah, was that,
yeah.
do you think it's to do with the class size? Do you think it's to do with the culture of education or the ways of approaching, you know, maybe like the power imbalances between professors and students? Because for me, that's what I felt like, you know, the way we can call our profs, go to see them in their offices and get to have an actual conversation. What do you think impacted that relationship?
It's almost all of the above that you mentioned. The class size, like in my class, in my undergraduates were like 200 in a class. So definitely the professor doesn't have time for 200 students. Then also the culture is there, like the respect and all. You can't just approach your professor anyhow like that, because there has to be like I remember there was a day I said, sir. Well, one of my professors, I was like, I'm not sir. So I was like, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like it's there, the class size, the culture, and also the professors are like good. So it was really very funny to me coming here and see like very funny and strange that you could approach your professor and they give you like the listening ear that you need and guide you through. And also doing the internship also together with the class, it's been kind of challenging because you are doing it like 3 days. You do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Do Fridays half day, but I was like, are you sure I can do this? But then I started doing it and I'm almost done with it now. So and also like you get to meet people that have like a lot of experience, because I'm a newbie in this field. You know, I said I've always been like in the clinical field, and they're ready to share their experience with you. There's no knowledge hoarding in anyone's side. Like you approach anyone and they're like, oh, I don't understand this thing. Then they're like, are you available for a Zoom call, or do you want to talk? Or like everyone is ready to share knowledge with you. And like I think the first class I attended, though my experience was funny when it comes to like coming into this Canada, because I actually quarantined 2 times. That's like 4 good weeks. So
Wow. That's
I
extensive.
what do you say?
That is extensive.
Yeah, it was actually for me. So it almost like shifted my mind away from school, but I was able to adjust. Then the first class I attended was very, very funny and weird to me. I think that was like the class we attended on the mountain. Then when when I got to the mountain and they were like, "This is where we're going to do our class," I said, "Eh? On the mountain."
Mm.
So like it's very creative. Like it's not like you have to be in class and using chalkboard and pencil and all those things. Like those were like creative ways of learning. And everything I learned on that mountain stuck with me. And
Mm.
it's something that I'll forever like remember because I was involved in the learning. So it has been good. Yeah.
Are you referring to the course I heard with Professor Ives and Professor Gabriel for Indigenous?
Yeah, one of my first
Yeah.
courses.
Wow.
This is a trip to Mount Royal.
Okay, sounds good. That's awesome. Wow. So there are different ways of learning, different ways of interacting with professors, and of course, for you adapting to a new country as well. Congratulations, you went through it. Yeah. How about you,
Thank you.
Kofi? You were here and now you're continuing. So how do you compare your BSW experience and to your MSW?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's pretty much most of what Anish and Tony has mentioned. I think the faculty, there's that sense of community that you feel, like your relationship with the professors for sure. And that actually helps you as a person and also as a student to know a lot of things that you could improve on, especially being academic or research positions. That so I think them being available for us and then being there for us has been very, very helpful, especially in my journey from transition from the BSW to the MSW. In terms of an academic side, I think the workload is a lot for the MSW for sure. So they push you. Despite that, they want to support you and make sure that you succeed in everything that you're doing. So there's that intensity that you feel, in terms of workload. So let's say if your BSW used to do, say, a couple of pages or more, like 8 pages for assignments, for your MSW doing more like 12 pages or more, for some classes. So and I think that has been really helpful. So for me, I can really see that change from the program from the BSW to the MSW, and overall, I think that sense of community is there, and that actually helps a lot of students like myself, and people like international students like Doni mentioned, who are transitioning to the into the school to do well in most of the things that they are trying to do. Yeah.
May I ask you guys about supervision? Because I know that's something that is different from the BSW. And I know you get a supervisor when you get into the MSW. How has that relationship impacted your education? How does that even look like for some of us who are not there yet? Is this someone you meet regularly? How do you work together with a supervisor? And if you're comfortable sharing who that is and what area of work you're doing, we would appreciate to know. Let's go with Niche.
So we have two different supervisors. I'm assuming that you're wondering about the ISP advisor rather than the practicum supervisor. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is.
So the ISP advisor is typically is aligned to the field that you get chosen into. So for myself, it was international social work, and it's a funny story. I was assigned to Dr. Denov, but because of their sabbatical currently, they're not able to take on a student. So I got passed down to another advisor. Dr. Ives was my second one. And then it got transitioned into another one. So currently I'm with Dr. Zach Marshall, and it's been a great relationship. We talk every month, and we've been talking every month since, I believe, October. And that's when I found out that Zach would be my supervisor. So I wanted to create that alliance right away. And that's something I think that it was in one of my recommendations for anyone entering our MSW, was to always reach out to your advisors for any sort of your ISP needs, because it is a hefty paper that you have to write for a semester. So I would I wanted to get a head start and to really start brainstorming what area of research I wanted to tap into, whether I wanted to tap into ethics or whether I wanted to collect data qualitatively or quantitatively from lived experiences. And so, by having that initial relationship with my advisor, I think I really benefited from it, because each month we at least have different ideas flowing around, we exchange information, and I get to learn something new each time I see him, and my ideas change as well. And I think that's the beauty of the ISP, is that it's okay to change your ideas, and good ideas are meant to be changed or meant to be evolved, right? So I've changed my ideas many times, but I know for a fact that my supervisor has been very helpful in that, because he's always prompting, interesting questions and, follow-ups to how I'm going to support my evidence, what kind of research do I want it to be, so it's been very helpful in that regard. And it's almost nice to have that, because it makes the 40-page paper look less intimidating and more so encourages you to keep writing more. I don't know, that's simply my experience. I'm not sure if I echo or, if it's the same experience with others as well, but I know that having a regular communication and building that rapport in the initial few months or so has been very, very helpful for me. Simply because that helps me establish the idea that I want to pursue, and keep thinking about in the back of my head, even though it's not time to write yet. But I know that I can keep my eyes out for any sort of evidence or research or great articles that may be useful for my ISP in the last few months. So yeah, ultimately, it's been great. It's like I said before, it's like having a peer that you can bounce off ideas from, and have that support from the get-go to be able to feel that you're not alone in this journey.
Oh, great. Thank you for elaborating on that. May I ask what ISP spells out for? Because I don't think I know the idea of it, but it's individual.
It's an independent study project.
Yeah.
And it's about 40 to 50 pages long, report, essay, research paper, or even creative work too. So I know that some individuals can create assessments and have addendum articles to explain what the assessment will be used for. Some individuals are doing artistic work, such as a documentary work or a theatrical work. But the thing is that once you have that rapport with your supervisors, they can then encourage you to publish your paper. Typically, research papers or articles that you write will get published, because it's kind of difficult to publish a documentary on a greater level, like in a research sphere. But for typically, it's typically articles and research papers that get published. And then if you're applying for your PhD, those the published work can actually help you get a lot of fundings in the future and get you advanced into becoming a candidate for PhDs.
Okay, all right. And this is an expectation of anyone in the MSW non-thesis.
Correct.
Because if you're writing thesis, then it will be somewhat similar, but a little bit more, if I understand that correctly?
Yes,
Okay.
and I don't want to speak on the thesis component because I'm not in that program, but from what I understand is that you are doing your thesis in replacement for the field work that we do. So the reason why ours is non-thesis is because we do field work.
Okay.
We have field placements to be able to do some education outside of our research, whereas thesis, you don't do field placement and you just work towards your thesis. And I think thesis is a lot more substantial than the 40 to 50 page report or article that we have to write.
All right. Thank you for that distinction. And Diane, how has yours been, supervision and working with a professor on your ISP?
Yeah, when I first got my admission and everything was like almost looking set, I think months before I came to Canada, I got talking with my advisor and I was like, Okay, like it's just very funny story because I actually thought that I could like it was like take your time. I said no, I'm so motivated and I want to finish everything. So it was like you can as well do everything before maybe just do it down, then you register it, then you submit. So I was like, oh, I'm going with that option. But like I just saw that like the way Anish said that ideas are some things that are meant to change, you understand? So I was first talking with him and I wanted to do something on NGOs, and later I was like, doesn't interest me. Then I started changing to some other things, and but it's been like a very good rapport because even on other levels, like we have like relationship apart from being my advisor to we have the Black social work meetings and all those things. So like yeah, I've been really having a very good rapport with him. And apart from my ISP, I think my course registration too, it has really been there. I think the beginning of the semester when I wanted to register my course for the fall, and thank God I actually spoke to him. If not, I would have made like some wrong decisions. I was like, how many courses are we taking? I can take 9, I can take 10. That's the way we used to take it. Where I'm coming from. And he's like, He was like, just take little first and check it out. So thank God I listened to him because I thought the 9 and 10 was the one we used to do back then. But like even this in this 3, like Kofi said, the workload is there. So I had to like reduce, and I was like, okay, I'll spread my course so that I don't like give myself too much pressure. And like that's what an advisor is there for. And he really like played his role for me. If not, I would have been making some decisions, or I would have made some decisions that I'll be regretting now. So it's really been a very good experience with my advisor, and I'm planning towards my ISP, and I'm still changing ideas because I've not really come up with what I really want to do. It's not very clear, but yeah.
Okay, and you can do this over the summer.
Yeah.
Or fully graduated, and you can do your ISP during the summer, even though you did your field placement concurrent to the academic year.
Right.
Yeah.
So you start in typically May, and then you can end mid-August. That's the submission deadline. But you can get it done within a month, or you can take your entire time to do it. But it's really just focusing outside of classwork. It's doing your own independent research to be really able to enhance your understanding of a certain field that you're wanting to pursue your career into.
How about you, Kofi? Since you're doing your placement after, do you still get to meet with your advisor regularly, or is that something that is going to be more during your placement? How does that look like?
Yeah, we actually started meeting way back last year in the summer. So my supervisor also helped me, got into admission because I asked her for a reference letter, and then she was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. And then so she's been very supportive. That's Regine, and I even took a research class with her. So we meet often, but beginning of last year, in the fall, we had a couple of meetings where I was talking about my interest, and like most of you have mentioned, the ideas keep on changing, right? So, and I love the fact that she's been very supportive in terms of allowing me to explore other things that are of interest to me. So at the moment, I'm focusing on my research. A topic is around gun violence in the GTA, that's Toronto area, and then the impact on youth as well. So I'm trying to limit it down to something more specific. Initially, I wanted to conduct some of the programs that are supporting youth being impacted by gun violence, and I realized we have to go through ethics and so many things as well. And I'm also looking into a time frame because I'm on a scholarship and I'm trying to make sure that I graduate on time. So, like most of you have mentioned it, I'm still going over the idea of what is really in terms of time frame that I can really do and make sure that I can submit it on time. And also given the fact that I have a field placement in the summer at Ottawa. So I'm trying to balance all these things. But honestly, it's been great. And I think the beauty of the ISP is that even though your concentration could be in child protection or clinical social work or international social work. You can talk about, you can write about any topic of your interest, and you can also do anything like Anish mentioned. You can go into anything that you want to do and then write a 40-page paper on that as well, and hopefully get it published. So
Oh,
that
that's
is.
what I was going to ask. Can you vary different, vary your stream, and then your interest is in another area? So yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
Right. Because when I started, like most of you, at some point in time, I wanted to do something more clinical, because sometimes I'm always like, I'm passionate about this thing, but I'm also interested in the money aspect of it, right? So I'm like, okay, I want to do clinical because I know clinical social work pays more, but at the same time, I want to do something about justice. I want to do more about policy, right? So there's that thing about me that I'm most interested in so many things. So now I've, trim my thing down to the fact that I just want to do more something around youth justice, right? And around policy. That is why I'm taking a lot of policy classes. So I'm taking some classes with Anish and Adedoyin as well, which usually you wouldn't see students in my stream taking those classes, like policy analysis, right? So I think the beauty of it is that once you go through the program and once you meet these amazing professors and teachers, you get interested in so many things that triggers you to want to do something more, right? So it's been great. Yeah.
You mentioned something that I got interested in asking you this question: money. I know that, master's students, you are mature students, you probably had maybe a career before, or you were thinking, you're more of an independent adult in a sense. So have you been able to work, because I feel like you're quite busy with placement and a full course load, and in school you need to finish in a year. Would you think that that's something that is possible, to be able to work part-time, full-time, casual? Like how have you been able to navigate that aspect, or is that something you would not recommend?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think for a lot of people, I know a couple of students, my friends who have the BSW from McGill and other school that's still working part-time with their degree, and it's great. I think one interesting part of being in the MSW class is that you have these so many amazing people working in the field who are students or your colleagues coming with so many great ideas, because they've been practicing with a degree for sure, right? So the fact that they can speak about something very concrete on what is happening on grounds is really amazing, and it actually brings so much ideas into when you're writing your papers, and some of these ideas that they bring to class too. So it's possible for most people, but I always see combining school and work as more of something of personal preferences. So somebody can get into a part-time job and they'll be able to excel and do well. Somebody can also, get into two jobs or more, and then they can do well as well. Somebody cannot combine two. So I think it's more about your personal decision as to, okay, in terms of workload and my time frame for graduation, am I able to kind of combine 4 classes and a field placement plus a part-time job? People do it, and I have a couple of friends who do it. I'm like, wow, and these people are doing so well in class, and I'm like, wow, how do you do it, right? So I think it's more about your personal choices and looking at yourself, that how much can you take at a time, right? Like for me, I'm not doing anything more social work related. I'm doing more, the job that I'm doing is a campus job, working in residence. And most of the things that I do also relate with social work, because I'm helping a lot of first year students cope with, anxiety and, planning programs for them and stuff like that. And it's been amazing too. So I think it's more of personal choices, but it's always possible. I know people will do that. And other people also get research position, then work with their professors on a project they're working on, which is also amazing. You're able to develop your research skills, and also hopefully, if you want to go into PhD in the future, it's something a good thing to go. And also having on your CV is amazing too. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll recommend. I'll recommend. I know you're coming to McGill, right? I hope you decide on that.
All right. Yes, I have. Do you know what's your take on that, working and studying the MSW?
Well, I think it's just personal preference, and also if you are really counting on the availability of such money or funds, because like for someone like me, I know that it's not very easy for me to like do a lot of combination, like with the field placement and also working and also reading and all those things. Sometimes it gets to a time whereby it destabilizes me and all. So I already said that I will just focus on my studies because, like I said, I'm under a scholarship. So I will just take whatever comes in. Then when it's time for, like when it's during summer, I will just like work, and I feel like that time I have everything under control. I've built my first semester, I've built my second semester results. So the summer is just like time to like have fun and relax and do some other things, and you can work then. But like it depends on your personal preference. If you can undo it, why not go for it? But if you are someone like me, please do not. If you can undo it, don't go for it, because it's very good for you to build your, as an international student. I think I really don't know about the policies on grade, but like as an international student, there are some grades you are not supposed to have. So definitely you will not want to be sent back home or to be asked to withdraw from the school. So if you know that you can handle it.
Yeah. How about you, Anish?
I personally love dedicating time to doing my master's. It is a full-time thing. And therefore, a lot of my energy and a lot of my time goes in it, simply because 5 days are consumed by school and then field placement, which I think, yes, they're relevant to what we're doing, but also the components of self-reflection, as well as the additional components of how to take care of yourself mentally, I think is also another thing that I like to preserve. I do like to balance out my life a little bit. And so I know those who work on the side have a very hard time balancing that. I was lucky enough to get a very, very part-time job with, PGSS, Postgraduate Student Society. And I think if someone is considering MSW or is doing MSW, I think there are opportunities that pop up every now and then that can help gain those extra financial aids on the side with like very limited hours, but it still stabilizes your income. And I think that's the benefit of that, because it's taken that you're a full-time student, and it's taken that you don't really have too much time to spare. And these jobs are catered to provide some sort of a temporary stability in your life. So I think I've been very fortunate through that, because I'm still paying out of province funds, so which is not great, but it helps really, and it allows me to strike that balance that I do wish to have outside of my education and outside of my field placement. So that's something that I'm taking away with this.
Yeah, and thank you for commenting on the self-reflection part that is required for the kind of classes that we have. I feel like in social work, sometimes I come out of class and I'm like heavy. I want to take a nap or have a snack or go for a walk, and I feel like maybe I wouldn't have that particular feeling if I was just doing math or something else. No offense to you all who do science, but I feel like our classes require a lot of us, a lot of showing up, a lot of emotion, and a lot of, things that we have to debrief. So doing that and getting up and going to work, I don't think I would be present, but obviously it's a personal choice that you guys highlighted, and it depends on the spaces that you allow within yourself to be able to show up for those obligations. Well, thank you guys so much. Oh my goodness, we're running out of time, but I really am enjoying hearing from you, especially the different perspectives that you bring to this space and to your classrooms, I believe. And I wanted to pick your brain as, we wrap up the conversation and ask you what kind of advice you will give to someone who's going into an MSW program. I myself, I'm coming back next year to McGill School of Social Work for my master's.
Welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, for me and for anyone else who's listening, who's interested, what kind of maybe like top 3 things you will say, hey, I'll give you that knowledge, take it. Let's go with Adedoyin first.
Yeah, number one, I think you said it, self-reflection. Know yourself, know your skills, know your strengths, know your weakness, know when it's time to like give it a stop, know when it's time to like push. And number two, seek knowledge, because I can never underestimate the expert, like the benefit or the significance of seeking knowledge from people. Because even if you were the best in your class, like there are a lot of people better than you in terms of like knowledge. So seek knowledge even from master's students, PhD students. I do a lot of like knowledge seeking from your colleagues. And number three, be balanced. Like I know it's hard to take that kind of advice from me because even myself, I'm not so balanced. I'm working towards being balanced, but like really try to be balanced. Don't be hard on yourself. Celebrate your wins. Like you got this. You are here because you know what you're doing. So definitely, yeah.
Oh, thank you. How about you, Anish?
I would say enjoy your experience, really. I think it's an enhancement of your education. And you chose to be here, and that's the difference from your bachelor's to your master's. It's the fact that you chose to be here, and it's the fact that you wanted to improve what you already had. And it takes a lot of time and effort, and it will take a lot of reflection as well. But I think you will certainly enjoy if you keep an open mind, if you keep balanced life, as Doyen said, and to have a really good relationship with your professors, because I feel like they want you to succeed, and they want you to do your best because they are your peers ultimately too. So I would take those into consideration and really just enjoy it. I've been enjoying it since I entered, and I couldn't be happier. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. How about you, Kofi?
Yeah. Pretty much almost everybody said it, said it all. But I think it's just an amazing experience, and for anybody considering it, there's so much careers in social work. A lot of people don't know. People are just used to like, oh, child protection or clinical social work, but pretty much like there's social work. It's just more like law, because there's social work in everything, right? So wherever that you want to take your journey to, and then McGill gives you that opportunity, and then these streams gives you that diversity to go into any stream that you want, whether you want to do international social practice, whether you want to do children and family, or whether you want to do policy stuff. So I think if you've been able, for any student who's been able to do the BSW, I will highly recommend the MSW for you, because it's just, and pretty much if you have the BSW for most schools, it's just 1 year. And 1 year just comes by. Like COVID has been 2 years, and sometimes when I look back, I'm like, ooh, we just did 2 years without me knowing, right? So if you've been able to do the BSW for 3 years or 4 years, just consider doing the MSW. It's just 1 year. And you can also teach with it. After some time of experience of working in the field, there's so many classes in my BSW that were taught by lecturers, so people working in the field, right? And those are amazing times that you can also get some experience from. So I just want to say, go for it. And and wishing everybody the best, for those who have gotten admitted, to yourself as well, and keep up with the work that you're doing as well too. Yeah.
Right, thank you. Oh man, thank you guys for joining us today. All I'm saying for you is good luck in the next steps. I know that you're going to kick ass. I just happen to also know you outside of this space, and I can speak to how much humanity and joy and social work and connection that comes out of you and the person that you are for people who encounter you. So thank you for representing our profession out there and for being amazing human beings. Congratulations to almost finishing your MSW, and I hope that you keep in touch. Thank you for the gems of knowledge that you shared here on this platform. And yeah, so everyone listening, we were joined today by Anish Deol, Adedoyin Adewunmi, and Emmanuel, Kofi, Yeboah, who are candidates in the MSW program, almost about to graduate. And yeah, my name is Alice Ishimwe, and thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.